was a question asked in the question and answer board about the truth tables from the practice exam. You'll notice that the answers on the solutions for the practice exam are incorrect. They got mixed up in the numbering, and number 37 is actually missing. I also apologize, I have a cold, so I might clear my throat a little bit more than often or usual. I'm very sorry. So the first thing that we're going to do is number 37. Using the truth table below, which columns A, B, C, or D, these columns over here, A, B, C, or D, is correct for the following logical expression? So we are looking for P or Q or not R. So I filled in my table over here. I have my original P, Q, R, P or Q and not R. Now the reason we've gone beyond P, Q, and the R and done the P or Q and then we have the not R is it kind of helps us take it one step at a time instead of trying to do it all in our head. So the first thing that happens in the truth table is you fill out all of the P, Q, and R combinations, every single combination. And that's where we got the true, 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 false, true, and so forth. Then we look at the next column, which we wanted to find was the P or Q. Now remember, with the or statements, you need one or the other to be true for the entire statement to be true. So it doesn't matter. The and statements both have to be true for that logical connector. So here we have true or true. So I'm looking at the truth values, which means that the P or Q for this section is true because I have a true and a true. So the or is true. Again, I have true and true. So the or makes it true. Here I have true, false. Now remember, the or statement, all I have to have is just one to be true. So the whole statement's true if it's an or. Here's false and true. One's true, so I'm good. The whole statement is true. Here I have true and false. Again, one of them's true, so the whole thing's true. Now I have false or false. This is the first one we've seen with two falses. Now the or is, the whole statement is false. The next one is false, true, which means one of them's true, so it's true. And the last one is false, false, so the combination is also false. Now for the next column, not R, it's a little faster. All we need to do is take the column R and switch all of the truth values. So here I'm just taking the opposite, which is false. Here taking the opposite is true, taking the opposite is false, then true, then false, then true, and then true. So now that I filled in my two columns here, I'm going to highlight those just really quickly because those are the two I'm now looking at to find the final question. I'm looking for Q, P or Q, so I have this truth value, or not R. So now I'm looking for the or between these. Just like we looked at the or between the P and the Q, I'm looking at the truth values of these two. Notice the order of operations. I have the P or the Q in parentheses and then the not R, which means I'm just looking at these two. And the logical connector is an or. So here, if I have anything true at all, the whole thing is true. So I have true, false. Again, the whole thing's true. Here I have true, true. Of course it's true. True, false. One of them's still true. Here, true, false. Again, one's true. I have true. Here, this one, I have false and false, which means the or is, the whole statement is false. Then I have true and true because something's true. Now I just need to find the column that matches this. So I have all trues, but this third from the bottom. So I know it's not A or D because I see a false there. And here I have a false here and here. So that one's not it. Let's double check C. The whole thing is true except this third one. So the answer is column C. Okay, so that was number 37. Let's move to 38. 38 says, if P is true and Q is false and R is false, which of the following is true? So just like we did for this one, and we took a combination of all of the true and falses with the logical connectors or and, the disjunction and conjunction, we need to break it down. Now we have to use the order of operations as well. So remember everything inside the parentheses first. So this A, we've been told that P is true. So this would be like having a truth table. P, Q, R, and then we have our combination. So this one, we've been told that P is true, Q is false, R is false, and then we could do the P or Q, and then do the conjunction with the and. So if I were to do P or Q, one of them is true, so the whole thing is true. Now I need to make the P or Q combined with the R with an and. So I could do P with parentheses to show order of operations, or Q and R. So now I'm looking at these two. This one, the connector is and has to be both of them to be true for the whole statement to be true. So it's different than the or. Oops, sorry. And so that one's false. And we're looking for something that's true. Okay, so that one's out. So we can cross out A. The next one, P or not Q. So I'm just going to hurry and put that in here as not Q for our next one. Oops, not Q. And because Q is false, not Q would be true. Now I have this connector of P. I should have put those in parentheses. P or still, and then not Q. P or not Q. So now I'm looking at these two truths. Well, one of them's true, and I know that or is true unless you have two falses. So that one's true. Then I need the connector of and R. So I'm going to change this to not Q and R. So I'm looking at these two truths now, false and true, which makes the and false because both of them with the and need to be true. So that one, again, that one's out. So we can cross out C. Let's try B. We have P, we have Q, and not R. So I'm going to come back to here, and I'm just going to change that to Q instead of not Q, and change this one to not R. Okay, Q, we were told Q is false, so I'm going to change that. R is false, so not R is going to be true. So change this. And I'm going to delete these and come up here. Change this out. I'm looking for, in this one, Q and not R. So we have Q and not R. Okay, so now I'm looking at these two here. And the connector is and. So if I have a false and true with the connector and, this all has to be false because and both of them have to be true. Okay, so now I have this Q and not R, and I'm going to connect it with the or to the P. So I'm looking at this truth value and this truth value, and between those I need an or. I have a true or false. We know with the ors that the whole thing is true, even if you just have one. So far we found a true statement in B. Let's just double check and make sure D is also not true, just to make sure. And this one just has P, Q. Let's change this is just R. So that was false. We were told that at the beginning. And we want Q and R. Okay, so we're going to look Q and R. Both of them are false, which is still false. And then we want P and Q and R. So let's delete that and look at this. So now I have Q and R and P. So I have false or true and false. In the and, we both have to be true, so this one is false. So the only one here that's true will be B. Now, I've shown you how we did it in the truth tables. Some of you will be just fine to look at these and think, okay, P is true, Q is false. The or makes this whole thing, and you might even write it up here above it. True or false makes the whole thing true because it's an or statement. So if true and false, and both of those have to be true to be true, so this whole thing is false. So some of you will go ahead and do it in your head like you would with a math equation versus the truth table, and that way it works just fine. In fact, I think I can show you that. No, sorry. Okay, so that one's number 38, and the last question was number 43. Let statement P equal the state of Idaho eliminates the sales tax on food, and the statement Q, the lower income residents, sorry, cut that off, who spend a larger proportion of their income on food will benefit. I'm actually not even going to use that and just go with the truth values for this conditional. Choose column A, B, C, or D with the correct truth values for the conditional. If P, then Q. And I didn't put that here. If P, then Q. All right, and we'll come over here. You can go ahead and put that context in. I'm just going to go with what I know for the conditional just to speed things up. And if it gets confusing, you can go ahead and go back to the statement. However, I always use the example of Senator Harris making the promise, if Senator Harris is elected, then I think it was a she will decrease taxes. So in this case, it's the promise question. So this is kind of confusing. So if she was elected and taxes went down, she kept her promise, so the whole thing is true. Oops, that should be false. Here we have Senator Harris was elected, taxes did not go down, she did not keep her promise, she lied, the whole thing is false. She did not keep her promise. Here, she was not elected, so it doesn't matter what happens next. If she was not elected, then Senator Harris can't keep her promise either way. We can't say that she lied because she was never ever elected. So this one has to be true because we can't call her a liar because she wasn't elected. Same thing here. If she wasn't elected, it doesn't matter what happens to the taxes. She may or may not have told the truth. We have no idea. So if she wasn't elected, it doesn't matter if the taxes went up or down. Here, they went down, but she had no control over that, so we can't call her a liar, and she kept her promise, even though she wasn't allowed to. So that's one way of thinking of it. So now I'm going to look for, and the conditionals are the hardest ones to fill in your truth table. So now I'm going to come over here to my columns and see which one fits. This one doesn't fit. They aren't all true. There we go. C fits true, false, true, true. So the answer in this one will also be column C. Again, this is the tricky part. On the if-then conditional statements, if you have a false for P, it doesn't matter what Q is, the whole statement will be true because we can't state anything afterwards about it being a lie or not, or keeping her promise. So that's how I like to think of these ones. So if you see the true, kept their promise, it's true. They were elected, they didn't keep their promise, then their statement was false. If they weren't elected, you just can't say yes or no. So it's always going to be true on the conditional statements. I hope that helps with those 3 questions from the practice exam. Good luck on your exam.